Hey ladies, Tara here, your personal stylist and confidence coach at VoomVaya, and I am so excited about this month's series of videos that I'm going to be sharing with you. It's going to be all about finding out what is your specific body architect and how do you dress for it? How do we camouflage those things that, we want to keep hidden away, and how do we enhance all the good stuff? So stay tuned. We've got a 4-part series coming on dressing for your specific body archetype. And I am super excited about this series. We are going to be learning how to discover your particular body architecture. Now, you've probably heard terms like hourglass or inverted triangle. I've even heard someone say, oh, I'm a potato chip shape. There's a lot of different terms. So I'm going to be using a lot of shape terminology, just so you know, but what I want to do is set you up to be prepared for this series. A couple things you're going to need. One is I recommend having a full-length mirror, something that you can really see yourself from head to toe. Secondly, I recommend also having a soft measuring tape just like this, because to get really, really accurate and specific, a measuring tape always helps. And you may need to get a buddy to help you out with some areas, especially around your shoulders, to measure. But just so you're prepared, full-length mirror will do it, but also the measuring tape works great too. All right, so throughout these series, I'm going to ask you to look at a few different areas of your body. Usually, we'll be talking about the shoulders, the hips, the waist, and the bust line. So when I talk about measuring these areas, I want to show you in advance what I mean by that. When I say measure your shoulders, what you're going to do is you're going to take your soft measuring tape and you need to go all the way around the circumference of your shoulders, okay? And take that measurement. So it should kind of look like that. You should be coming across just right below this shoulder bone, even across the back, and coming over around this way. So you can see where having a buddy might be helpful, but anyway, you roughly want it to look like that. So that's what I mean by a shoulder measurement, okay? Bust is going to be very similar. You're going to have to do the same thing, come around even around the fullest part of your bust, take that measurement. To find your waist, you either have a natural indentation right here, or it's where you naturally would bend, and that is where you're going to want to put your measuring tape and take that measurement. And then last but not least is the booty. You want to take your measuring tape and put it around, feet together, and put it around the fullest part of your booty. Come around evenly, parallel with the floor, and take that measurement. So when I'm referring to these different measurements, that's how and where to measure it on your body. Okay, ladies, well, let's get started. The first body architecture I'm going to talk about today is the oval body shape, because I do feel like a lot of women feel like they end up in that category, especially in menopause, because we have a lot of weight gain through our midsection. So an oval body shape sometimes can sometimes be misinterpreted. Sometimes I think we put ourselves in that category and it's actually not really the right category to be in. So this is going to determine whether or not you truly are an oval body shape or not. So the first thing you want to do is you either want to visually look at yourself in the mirror straight on, and you want to see if your shoulders and hips are balanced, meaning, for example, do my shoulders and my hips look approximately the same width apart? And do I have most of my weight gain or most of my fullness through my bust and chest and through my tummy? What you could do is also measure your shoulders and hips and check that number. And then if your midsection happens to be that measurement or larger, then that typically puts you in that oval category. Okay, so my 6 tips for an oval body shape, and we'll be putting a photo up there so that you can visually see this. My favorite 6 tips for this body shape is 1, you want to add a vertical design line. So basically some kind of design line like a stripe, maybe some leather detail or texture that's vertically going up and down in the center of your body, and you can see that on the blouse that's in the photo above. Wear tops that are out and only as long as your knuckles, unless you are tall. So if you are probably 5'6" and shorter, you definitely want to abide by this rule. If you're 5'7" and up, you can probably get away with a little bit more length, especially if you have longer legs. You want to choose more flowy fabrics. You don't want things that are too stiff, that don't drape, and just like you don't want anything that's overly clean either, but things that just kind of drape naturally over the bust and tummy area. Those are going to complement more than a really stiff material. Show your shape. I know my oval shape ladies always say, oh, I don't have a waist. Yes, you do have a waist. Don't wear things that are so baggy and hide your shape that you actually end up making yourself look fuller and larger in that area than you actually are. Give yourself a strong silhouette. I understand you don't want your bits and bobs and everything being squeezed out. I get that. But if you have things that are so oversized, you're actually going to add visual weight in the area that you're actually trying to slim down. Also look for high-waisted dresses that sit above the fullest part of your tummy. So a nice high-waisted dress is going to give you this illusion of a waist and then drape nicely over that fullness that you might have in your tummy. And last but not least, you want to look for monochromatic outfits, especially with maybe a dark in the center, especially if you're layering. If you love to wear black, what I love to do is have an all black outfit, but have the textures be different. So maybe partner, black denim with a black leather and a black silk skirt. All those different textures are going to make for a really interesting, beautiful monochromatic outfit, but that's also super slenderizing, and it also creates this illusion of height. So a great monochromatic outfit also is super flattering on an oval body type. But just make sure that whatever that monochromatic color is, play with texture, because it makes it far more interesting. So the next body shape that I want to talk about is an inverted triangle. This one probably isn't as popular, but what I love about this body shape is it's so distinct and so specific that when you style and wear clothing that flatter this body shape, you really build and balance it beautifully. And so if you are an inverted triangle lady, knowing these style tips will really help you nail it every time you walk out the door. So what is an inverted triangle? I've also had someone call it, I was a potato chip shape. People also refer to it as a strawberry. Essentially the shape is like this. So you guessed it, the shoulders are significantly wider or visually wider. Could also include the bust area. So this top chest area is wider than your lower body. So you literally look like an inverted triangle. So this shape, this is actually one of my favorite shapes to dress, just because it's so fun and it's a really great one to just build and balance and get creative with. So again, you can take your measuring tape, measure your shoulders, and then go around the fullest part of your rear end. And if this shoulder measurement is much wider than your lower body, then you're clearly an inverted triangle. Also, most inverted triangles you can see visually in the mirror. Look at yourself straight on, and if your shoulders look significantly wider, or your upper body and chest look significantly wider than your lower body, my hunch is that you're an inverted triangle. So my top tips for my inverted triangle ladies is, my number one tip for my inverted triangle ladies, or my ladies who are fuller and bustier through the shoulders and the bust and narrower in the hips, is you want to wear darker colors on top and lighter colors on the bottom. Oh, I know, right? So darker on top, typically more solid colors on top, thinner fabrics, things that are not going to add visual bulk. And on the bottom half, that is where you can have a lot of fun with patterns, textures, potentially even a little more fullness on the lower body with fabrics, some flowy fabrics, things like that. Because the idea is we want to make your hips and lower body be in balance with your chest and shoulders, and then obviously keep defining your waist. Defining your waist is a universal rule across all body shapes for all women. My other tip is shirts with V-necks and scoop necks. V-necks are really the best. That is really going to help minimize a fuller upper body. Some kind of V-neck, opening up this area is going to create a narrowing illusion, and it's going to make your shoulders and upper body look a little bit more narrow and slim, and that also helps balance. You also want to avoid any kind of horizontal design lines in your upper body. With the inverted triangle shape, it's all about minimizing the width of the upper body. So we don't want to bring anything up here that's going to create a vertical line, whether that's big shoulder pads or pockets or details. All of that is just going to make that area look broader and make your bottom half look even slimmer, and then that just throws you completely out of balance. Show off your shape. Even if you're an inverted triangle with a little bit of a tummy, you want to show off your shape and make sure that your waist is defined. I realize maybe we don't want clingy fabrics and things like that, but again, wearing that dark slimming top on the top and a lighter bottom is going to help build and balance your body shape, even if you have a tummy. And then select, you can wear belts the same color as your top. That also helps give a more narrowing illusion. So those are my top tips for the inverted triangle girl. One last tip for my inverted triangles that goes back to wearing belts. You also typically want a more narrow waistband style and belt. Now, earlier on, I did do a video on finding out if you are short-waisted, long-waisted, or proportionate, and that also is a great determiner on the width of your belt. But typically on my inverted triangles, because you're broader up towards the upper body, wearing a slimmer waist or slimmer belt or waistband is typically more flattering. But you can also do the belt test too that I taught in my other video. Continuing on with our body silhouette series is the pear shape or triangle. Like I said, some people like fruit, some people like geometry, but the triangle shape. Now, how do you discover whether or not you're a triangle? Go ahead and step in front of that mirror, and if visually your lower body looks fuller than or wider than your upper body, chances are you are a pear or triangle shaped body. Also, you can take your handy dandy measuring tape, measure on the shoulders, measure on the hips, and obviously if the number on top is smaller than the bottom, that bottom number is bigger, chances are you are a pear shape or a triangle shaped body. That is also another very, very popular body shape. I actually happen to be, and I'll get into this in another video, but there's often times where we can be combination body types. I'm often an hourglass from the front and a triangle from the rear. So I still have to work on building and balancing because of the visual imprint from the back side. So now that you know whether or not you are a triangle or not, which is probably the most popular body shape, also you add being a triangle, possibly with a little menopausal tummy and weight gain through the stomach area, you are going to love this. Number one trick for my triangle shaped ladies is to wear darker colors on the lower body. By wearing darker colors on the lower body, you automatically slim. So this is really great for my ladies who have fullness in the tummy, have fullness in the hips and thighs, and they want to slim and elongate that area wearing darker colors on the bottom. But I don't always mean wearing black. Try a dark navy. I love black, but I think trying navy, a dark chocolate brown, also playing with a little bit of monochromatic textures like leather is great to play with. I love getting like black on black snakeskin pants, things like that, so that it's not just always a plain pair of black trousers. So have some fun with that, but stay darker on the bottom. So darker on the bottom, lighter on the top. So ladies, that particular body shape is one where you can really have some fun up top. This is where we can get away with more texture, more color, brighter, lighter colors, maybe even a little shoulder pad, maybe even a little bit more flounce and texture and design up on your upper bodies. Patterns are really great. Now, If you are a triangle, but you're also really full busted, I would recommend not doing too large of a print, and also make sure that you keep a V-neck, because if you are fuller busted, a V-neck is going to help minimize that. So keep that in mind when getting dressed. I love adding a little bit of a heel when you are this body shape. It doesn't have to be a super big stiletto, but just adding a little bit of a heel, I think, just adds that elongation, and it makes your legs look great. It brings your booty up, and so adding just a little bit of a heel, I think, is a great accessory for this body shape. And back to talking about the shoes, I also recommend that shoe having a little bit of a point. We don't want a super rounded toe or anything like that in our heels. Not saying you have to have the pizza cutter shoes, but we definitely don't want a super rounded toe. Also, if you do like to rock a white pair of jeans maybe in the summer, or you do like to have some of the lighter color pants, just make sure that your top, and again, this is for my triangle shaped ladies or my pear shaped ladies, just make sure that the top is even lighter than the bottoms that you're wearing. Even if your bottoms are, a white or a beige, just go for something a little bit brighter on top, because again, the whole focus for a pear or triangle shaped body is that we're bringing the attention up and diminishing the attention on the lower body. So the final shape I want to talk about is the hourglass. And again, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror, face on, and what you want to look for as an hourglass are your shoulders and your hips proportionate, and you have a very distinguished, specific waist where it curves in. Now, yes, ladies with a tummy, you can still have a waist. This is where I do recommend you taking these measurements, because an oval and an hourglass are very similar. The main difference is in an oval, you have a lot more fullness through the bust and that midsection. So if shoulders and hips are balanced and your waist is anywhere from 8 to 10 inches smaller than your hips and shoulders, chances are you are a true hourglass. And what I love about this body shape is it's really just all about accentuating that waist, not losing the waist. This body shape pretty much can get away with anything. That's why when we're building and balancing the other shapes, the ideal is to create the illusion of an hourglass. So make sure you don't lose the definition of your waist. If you are an hourglass with a full bust, make sure you're wearing at least a V or a scoop neck. If you're an hourglass with more of a full tummy, full bust, then go back to the tips as on the oval video. And if you are an hourglass just with a little bit of tummy, well, stay tuned for the next bonus video, because I'm going to be talking about 6 ways to disguise the tummy. Okay, so here's my bonus video on 6 ways to camouflage a tummy. I'm going to go through it really quick. My very first way is with ruching. They're just like these little clever folds that you kind of can scrunch up, and that will actually camouflage a tummy, believe it or not. Next are prints. Believe it or not, prints are really great for distracting and camouflaging a fuller midsection, and geometrics are best because they're angled, there's more straight lines, and so that is a great technique to use is geometric prints. Higher waistlines. Bring the waistline up high and then let something lightly drape over that little bit of fullness that you have in your tummy. Vertical features. I've talked about this in some of my other videos, having vertical design lines. Maybe it's some kind of design detail on a blouse. Maybe it's striping. It could be a variety of different things, but creating vertical also is very slimming on a tummy. You can also get that vertical feature by wearing a third piece like a jacket and then having a solid dark color in the center. So that makes a really great, easy way to create a vertical design line. Shapewear. Believe it or not, shapewear is fabulous for slimming a tummy, and you can do anywhere from something like Spanx, which like sucks you in like crazy. Another favorite product line of mine that I love is Ruby Ribbon. They make kind of shapewear light, but it's smoothing and does the trick. And last but not least is fluid fabrics. We don't want anything too stiff. We don't want anything too clingy. We want the fabrics to be fluid and just kind of lightly drape over that area. But again, do not lose your waist, ladies. Don't wear things that are oversized, because honestly, that will just make that area look bigger and fuller, which is what we don't want to happen. Don't be afraid to show your shape and love your curves. All right, ladies, well, I certainly hope you have enjoyed this series on learning what your body architecture is and how to dress for it. I hope sincerely that you took away some golden nuggets that help you get dressed easier and make you feel confident and sexy every day. But I want to hear from you. I want to know what style support you're needing. What style secrets are you dying to know? I know one of the biggest questions I get asked, and I think I might need to do a series on this, is how do I dress for my 40, 50, 60-year-old body? Like, I don't want to dress like I did when I was in my 20s, but how do I dress for this new body? I know that's a burning question that I probably need to do a series on, but I want to hear from you. I love helping you get your confidence back. I love sharing style tips, and I just want to know what more you need to help keep your VoomVaya.